everybody, and welcome to another NetHunt CRM tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to prepare and import your data into NetHunt. You might be using another software or keeping your data in spreadsheets at the moment. No worries, you can migrate all the data into NetHunt CRM in a few clicks. Here, you can see that we can import from the CSV file or other CRMs directly. If you're using one of them, you can import your data from there using the API key. But let us deal with the CSV import. First of all, you need to prepare for the import. You need to collect all the data you have in a file and clean it up. I would recommend doing it in a spreadsheet. For starters, let's see what issues you might encounter before the import itself. Right at the beginning, when you think your file is ready to upload, you get this message: import failed. Before contacting support, you can troubleshoot the following possible issues. Make sure your data is well structured, without any special rows within the rows, different pictures, just like you can see on the screen. If you have this structure, the system will not pick up the fields correctly. Empty rows. If you want to just import the structure of your future folder, so-called field names, you will need to fill out at least one column, as the system needs to import at least one record. The first row always contains the field names of the record in NetHunt, and below there should be at least one record present. One column is enough, for example, the record name. Missing field names. As I have mentioned in my previous point, the first row always contains the field names of the record in NetHunt. If the first row is the actual record, the system will pick it up and make the row as the field name for the rest of the columns you import. Semicolon separator. To import data into NetHunt, the data in the file needs to be in a CSV, which is a comma-separated file format. This means when you try to import data and receive an import failed message, take it and upload it as a spreadsheet and open it. It might look like this. This is even hard to read. Imagine how it is to import. But no worries. All you need is to select a column A and go to Data, split text to column, and choose the separator, in this case as a semicolon, and it will be fixed. But why semicolon? Because the text was initially separated by it, and we need to make it into a comma. After that, download the file and try importing again. The next part is to clean up your data. Even though this process might not be the most pleasant of them all, it will pay it off in the long run. Just imagine you and your team were working in the spreadsheet all this time. And not in one spreadsheet, but multiple ones for different purposes. Everyone could input data the way that they wanted, but importing it into the NetHunt CRM system requires structure. I will show an example of importing contacts and companies information, but you can import as many files and create as many folders in NetHunt as you need. Firstly, you need to check if you have information regarding both companies and contacts together in one file. I do. This means I'll have to separate those. But why? In NetHunt, there are two folders for them, and we would need to import the data from two separate files so that we can have them linked together afterwards. Now, let's see how you'd go about it. I would need to have two workbooks. This one I will call contacts and keep them here. The second, companies, and I will move some data there. In contacts, I select the company-related data and paste it into the companies sheet. But I also keep this column, company name, in the context to have this field as a unique link between the contact and the related company. It is important for mapping. As another example, when you import a deals file, There you would need to also have a company name field, as the deal needs to be related to a relevant company after the import. You only need to do this if you're importing files that actually need to be linked together after the import, but if it is a single file, no need. Okay, this is done. Next, we start cleaning up the workbook. I have highlighted some columns that require attention. First is the full name. You would need to separate the one into two columns. First and last names to import into NetHunt, and then easily use your contact's first name as a variable in your email campaign, for example. To do that, add a new column to the right and select the column with the full name. Go to Data, split text to column, and choose the separator. In this case, it will be space. The two names are separated by it. Now, let's quickly give the rows appropriate names and move forward. Title. No issues here, but you would want to make sure that you have unified title names in your file to better filter contacts in the CRM. The next field is stage. This also needs to be unified to do the same set of stages. Avoid including both the stage, like negotiating, and a couple of lines of comments regarding the deal. The comments should be in another column like comments or notes. Phone numbers are picked up as you have them here, but if you plan to use a calling software of some kind, this software might not recognize some numbers or formats, and the call will fail. Super important. If you need to call different countries, do not forget the appropriate codes. It is up to you really, but try to keep it as clean as possible. Email addresses that are not complete or missing some parts like @sign will not be imported. In the future, when you create a record and insert an email address without @sign, even the system will not save it as it is invalid already. So keep all of the email addresses up to date and inserted correctly. Next, lead type and source. These columns will be considered as tags in the CRM. You also can have other fields that can be turned into tags. You can separate them either with a comma or a semicolon. In this case, it doesn't really matter how you separate them within one cell. The date field is my favorite. You need to pay close attention to it. I've seen files like this where the date was in different formats, contained words, and all other sorts of inconsistencies. Flawed, ununified data like this will not be imported. Let's see how we can make it look good. First of all, decide on the format. In the CRM, we support these formats. So first, you need to check your preferences and then change them to the one you need and return to your file and update this column accordingly. You're good to go when the file and the CRM have the same format. One more thing we should cover in this tutorial is how to deal with the potential duplicates. You would need to also find them in the file. There is a special formula. You can select a field to look for. I will do the most unique field containing emails. Right now, I'm going to go to the section Format, Conditional Formatting, Custom Formula, and insert the formula for my column. Then you find the duplicates, highlight them, and eliminate them. Now, I'm ready to import my files, and I will do the companies first. I save the file as a CSV and import it into NetHunt. You can select the existing company's folder or create a new one on the go, but I will take the default one just so it's quicker. I import, and now the most crucial part, to map fields. First, make sure that the record name field is correctly selected. My company name needs to be the record's name. Click on the drop-down and map it to the name. Next, all other fields are picked up correctly as the field names here are totally the same from the file. The last one, company website, offers you to create a new field. But if I click on the drop-down menu, I see there is an option to map it to the existing website field. I'll do this. If there is a field you do not want to import into the CRM, you can choose the option Do Not Map. But I'd recommend already having the file importing with all the fields you need. Delete some you will not map in advance in the spreadsheet. It will save up time here. The next step is to check for duplicates. When you are importing data into an empty folder, you do not really need this option. But if you do, you will need to match the records by the unique field so you do not import a duplicate to the folder. The system will simply update the existing record. I have one duplicate created in the folder just to show you how it works. Since I am importing companies, the most unique field for me here is the record name. But you might also have an ID field, a company's website, or an email, which also can be unique. Now, import and you see that a possible duplicate was updated and not created. Open the folder and see my records. Next, I will import my contacts. When I start mapping, I make sure that if I have a new tag next to the field, I check if there is an existent possible match. If yes, I map it there. If this is a completely new field like stage here, you keep it as new, but also make sure you select an appropriate format. Stage for me picked the text format, but I want a drop down, so I choose to create new and select the format I need. Now the importance of linking field between contact and a company. Do you remember I said to keep the company name column also in the contacts? This field cannot be text. Instead, here I have a field that I need and I map it. But just so you know, the field type is linked to record, and in my case, it is companies. Now, fields, tag, and source. Source was automatically mapped to the existing tag field, where tag is the new field we will create upon the import. Therefore, always be aware that if you have a field that should be a tag in the CRM, choose its format, otherwise it will be imported as text. The next step is also the same as previously. If you need to check for duplicates, choose the unique field. Now import and check the folder. Now, I also imported some mismatched data, and the system shows me some records with invalid fields. Choose to show mismatched data only and check the records and their fields that didn't import correctly. The date field shows what was initially in my spreadsheet and why it didn't import into the date field. The answer is wrong format. Clean your mismatched data. So in the contacts, you see that this one is related to a company, and I can click on it and will be taken to the company's record. If I scroll down, I will see the linked related contact, and if there will be more contacts to this company, I will see them here. And if you found this video useful, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we post informational videos every week, so let us know what you want to hear about next time in the comments below. If you still haven't tried NetHunt, sign up today for free. The link is in the description, and bye for now.